Welcome to the Check Ball Show, sponsored by Prize Picks. I'm Austin Mills, Drew Hanlen, Frankie Delgado, and our guest on the episode today, we got Trey Murphy. Trey, to start the show off, we all know by now, if you have been watching Check Ball, that Drew talks the most shit to all of his clients. That's literally what he's known for.
That's what I'm here for.
Are you prepared for the shit talking today?
I would like to say yes.
And we put Frankie in the middle of them so that they don't get physical.
This is a wall right here, and it will not be crossed, okay? Drew?
We already had our workout today, so I already got some
exactly.
some jokes off, so we should be good.
He's already
so
warm.
Trey is peak frustration right now.
Let's behave, Drew. Behave, man.
All right, so Drew was just in Paris with Team USA. Trey, you were with Team USA in Vegas.
The JV squad, coach. The JV squad.
Here he goes.
There he goes.
All right, starting early.
Can you give us a little insight on first of all, what Team Select does, because a lot of people don't know, and what it was like to be with potentially the greatest USA team of all time?
So for select team, basically you're practicing against the men's national team, and it's only for about like 3 days of practice. You probably play about 5 to 6 quarters, if that, and really you're just there to give them a realistic look of how FIBA teams play. Like, we don't just play pickup. It's like we're running actions that Serbia will run, or Spain, or teams like that.
And who are you in those actions?
I didn't participate because I am in the middle of some negotiations at the moment, so I was preserving myself.
What negotiations?
Contract negotiations.
It's payday.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Part 2 to the question, I think what a lot of people want to know, obviously one of the best Team USA's ever, Braun, Curry,
Absolutely.
Obviously all the GOATs.
KD.
Any crazy moments, special moments, just a feeling of what it's like to be surrounded by, some of the greatest players ever?
It's cool because I would say, like, the coolest part about it is the after practice, like, workouts. You see everybody getting to their own routines, and they're doing their different things. And Steph is staying late, like, after a long 2-hour practice, still working on his jump shot, going full speed, game pace. KD's still doing his spins, all this other stuff to, get his shot right. And, just see everybody and, like, how they, carry themselves, working-wise. It's pretty cool.
It's actually funny because one of the days we didn't know – like, obviously, when I was working out some of the other guys, they kind of were like, do whatever you want. I could be on the court. I could be saying anything. And so the first time I worked out Trey down there, we didn't know, like, what the rules were because he was on the select team. And so I sat on the sideline, and I was telling him what to do. And I was like, no, do this. And I'm, like, doing this. And all these fans were, like, looking. They're like, is he talking to him right there? And then I'm like, no, dumbass, do this. Like, and there was one specific, like, left-hand layup we were working on finishing off 2 feet that he couldn't do. And I'm over here, like, on the sideline. And then eventually, like, a reporter, like, posted a video of, like, me to Trey and me going, no, like, you know what I mean, on the sideline. But, no, it is cool. I mean, after the practices, everybody scatters to their baskets and just, goes through their full routine. So as a basketball fan, or as a basketball player or something like that, it's almost an opportunity for you to kind of, look at the landscape and see, like, oh, I like that. Oh, I don't like that. And kind of pick and choose what you can add to your own routine as you move forward.
Did you pick up anything?
I would say a lot of Curry stuff because me and him were, like, the last 2 ones on the court. Obviously, I didn't practice, so it was a little different. But, he's really fine-tuning his jump shot. After every single shot, he's, like, doing different motions with his hands in order to be like, all right, look, I got to recalibrate this, that, and the third. And I think that would probably be, like, the one that I looked at. And I was like, all right, there's different things in his workout and routine that I could, add to mine.
I have one question that I'm going to go off script here, but there's a lot of talk about Cooper Flagg. You got to see him in person. What'd you think of him? Is he the real deal?
I think he's a really good player. And the reason why is because of his mentality. Like, the first day he wasn't as aggressive, I think he was trying to feel everything out. But then the second day he came out and hit a contested jumper over AD, came back down, got a steal or a block, got an offensive rebound and won. And he's just, like, out there playing and, like, not being nervous and not acting like a 17-year-old. Like, you're playing against one of the greatest national teams ever. Like, LeBron, KD, AD, like, great group of guys. And you're just playing like it's regular people. So I think overall, like, he wasn't doing things that were like, jump off the page. Like, all right, he's really, really special, but it's mainly his mentality and his mindset.
Because he's only 17. He turns 18, like December or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so
kind of cool.
We have, 3.5 shooters here. Just kind of staying on the shooting topic.
Crazy. Have you not heard about my new percentage? There's like a new man out there, man. I went 5 for 6 the other day.
All right.
Hey, bro. Come on, good job,
Being
bro.
that close to Steph, and him obviously being probably the best shooter of all time, safe to say. What is the difference between he shoots what percentage 3-point in the NBA?
A little down this year, but basically a 40%.
Okay,
shooter,
3-point NBA, great shooter, great 3-point shooter in the NBA. What is the difference between you and Steph? 100 spot shots, out of 100, how many Steph making? How many are you making?
I mean, any given day I can make 90 out of 100. He can probably make around like 95.
No, to be honest
like,
with you, I don't think in drill shooting, I think they would be the exact same.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that there's the great shooters, they just don't miss. Like I was telling a story the other day of, when the first time I ever saw Klay Thompson work out, we were in Santa Barbara together, and he just happened to be in Santa Barbara, and so he was needed somebody to work him out, and I'm passing to him and stuff like that, and he's mixing up his footwork, right, left, right, hop, back pedal. And I remember afterwards being like, what's going on? I'm just trying to miss. Like, I'm trying to make myself miss because he's that good. So, and he's not one of my clients, I've never worked him out, anything like that. It's just, but hearing those kind of stories, it just tells you like the best shooters, they literally don't miss in practice. I think the thing that separates Steph is the difficulty of shots. Like you saw the night shot that he did, but like, he's not shooting.
He
you
did
know
a
what I mean?
he did a bunch of them.
It's
so
just
crazy.
off the dribble, the confidence, the ability to constantly keep his body squared so that he can shoot at any given moment. The release speed where he doesn't need much separation.
The one over Wemby.
Yeah, all those shots.
Well, that's
what's the difference.
That's what Chandler said last week on our episode. He said that he's like talking about how he could like outshoot him. He goes, well, maybe, but what are you talking about? Like it's in game. Can you make those shots in game? That's when it counts. That's when it matters.
The kind of hot thing right now, very popular thing, is everyone talking about 2028 LA Olympics. Obviously Bron's probably not going to be there. Steph's probably not going to be there.
Absolutely.
Can you give us an
idea? They're coming back.
Before you even say anything,
Can you give us an
absolutely.
idea?
I think they're coming
Can you
back.
give us an idea, like off the top of your head, 5 to 8 Team USA 2028 players?
From this current team?
First off, the reason he was saying absolutely is he was saying is
Yeah,
he's
I'm
going to make the team.
participating.
Right, right.
No, I'm participating.
Right.
That's
You're
what
in.
I'm saying. Yeah,
I would hope that
without
you
a
would-
doubt.
Without a doubt.
Without a
Let's
doubt.
go.
By the way, I would
Come
hope
on.
you would include yourself, but other than yourself, who do you think will be on that 2028 team?
I think Chet has a really good chance to be on that team. Jalen Williams probably. From that current team, obviously, you got Tyrese and Jason.
Cooper make that team?
Potentially. You never know. Like, it's 4 years away. You never know what
Maxey.
happens. Maxey, if he wants to play.
We're going to have a whole Pure Sweat squad, coach.
Literally.
I saw Donovan. I saw De'Aaron Fox.
Hopefully Jaylen Brown plays this year. That year.
Zion.
How old would he be? He's not going to be that old.
No, he's young.
He'll be young. Yeah. Potentially, though. I mean, you never know in 4 years what happens, like where guys' trajectories go. So, I mean, it's hard to guess, but I know for sure Trey Murphy will be in the running for that, and we'll be
I
playing.
like that.
So,
I love that. I love that you should just start talking to who's going to be the coach. Spoelstra?
I think Spo.
yeah, Spo.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Spo
I don't know if it'll be the same
thing
staff as
that I love
2024.
is, that if you think about like the coaching staff, even on this year's USA team and stuff like that, you got some really good
Really good.
Well,
really good
assistant
coaches.
coaches. Like you're
Ty
talking about.
Lue.
That's what I'm saying.
Ty Lue could also
and
be
one
the
of the
head
best
coach.
college coaches. You
Exactly.
know? So,
Yeah. Painter was there too. Then they had Mosley as well with the staff. Like, you have really good coaches on that staff. I think for me, the biggest thing was watching like all like the activities they're doing, like the flag bear and all this stuff. Like, it just makes you really want to be a part of it. And like, it's a brotherhood. Like, you're playing with guys that you compete against all the time. And then you're like, dang, I really want to be a part of this too. Like, represent my country. And like Katie made a great point. There's a lot of bullshit that happens here, but there's also a lot of great things, and I definitely would want to be, part of that.
all right, so we want to go back when you were 5'8", freshman in high school. Then obviously, stuff like that. One of the cool stories when I was doing some research on this, your first start ever for your dad's team, the Durham Hurricanes.
Yep.
Was when you were in ninth grade. So
Yep.
it didn't start until ninth grade. And the only reason you started was because a mom basically pulled her son out of a starting lineup because he didn't do homework.
No, he got to a fight.
Got into a fight. Okay. The article said
That was the PG version.
yeah, they couldn't tell
They
that
were doing
part.
some
No.
capping on the article.
Yeah, they couldn't tell that. But.
So talk to me about, you're talking about making an Olympic team, and you're a 5'8", high school freshman. Talk about that journey of like going from a 5'8" freshman to somebody that, gets drafted in the first round. I know you had some crazy twists and turns. You went played at Rice 2 years, losing seasons back to back, then transfer to UVA, then get drafted, etc. So talked about that long grind and journey that you've kind of taken.
I think, in all honesty, it's probably the best path because once you get to the NBA, you're not that guy a lot of times. Like, if you're drafted past, like, I would say almost like the 5th pick, 6th pick, like, you're not that guy. You got to play a role. And so a lot of people, once they get there, they're just like, they don't know how to deal with adversity. Like, I've literally dealt with adversity every single step of the way. And, like, the way that my career has been from high school to college to the NBA is, like, when I first get there, not too good. Then don't play too great. And then I eventually figure it out, and then I start blossoming. Like, I'm very thankful for my path, and I think it's definitely helped molded me. Like, my parents have been there for me. They've been my support system, and they've been the ones to, tell me, like, you're not, like, nothing's given. You have to earn every single thing that you get. So
Yeah, big shout out to your pops. It's his birthday too, right?
it is his birthday. Shout out to Papa Kenny
There you
for
go.
his birthday as well.
At 5'8", do you even have thoughts of playing in the NBA? When you're a 5'8" freshman, are you like,
Yeah.
I'm going to play in the NBA?
Absolutely. You have thoughts about it, but you also have a backup plan too. like,
What was the backup plan at the time?
you want to know something funny? I went on a Lenovo Scholars Program at Carey Academy, and I went to the campus. It was nearby the school, and, they had these sales reps, and all they did was talk to people on the phone the whole time and, try to sell the product. And I was like, you know what? This would be fun. Like, they made a good little living, and, they just talked to people. And I was like, I could do that with my life. I feel like that'd be pretty cool.
Post-NBA career, he's a salesman. I'm going to hire him, too, just so I can – I'll be like, how many programs did you sell today?
Like, give me a break, Drew. Like, give me a break today.
So talk about college, because to me, the college journey is interesting because, like, we played college basketball. I played at mid-major. He played kind of mid-major and then went and walked on at a high-major school. Frankie rec league champion, so he understands where we're coming from.
I win
as well.
championships, baby. Come on.
Absolutely.
But when you go to, Rice, at that point, you still believe, like, I'm going to play in the NBA. When you guys, under 500 both times. I saw one time you guys started a season like 1-8 or 1-9 or something like that, one of the years.
Something like that.
But you still never lost doubt.
I would say my freshman year, I played pretty solid towards the end. Ended up breaking like a freshman record for percentage, shot like 43 or whatever from 3. But going into my sophomore year, it was that draft class, the 2019 draft class, where Cam Reddish was drafted, I want to say like 7 or something like that. And then they had all these like long-range guards. And I was about 6'7", about 200, 205. And I was like, there's no way like I can't be in that same position as those guys. I was like, I work hard enough, I shoot the ball well enough, and I'm becoming a better athlete. At some point, I'm going to have my chance to, be in the conversation to get drafted in the first round.
And you grew up in North Carolina, and obviously I'm sure a dream was North Carolina or Duke. Are you just overlooked, just not even paid attention, or, what did that look like coming out of high school?
I was 6'4", 150 pounds when I was getting recruited by colleges, so I don't think I was on Carolina or Duke's radar.
But that was, I'm sure,
put it this
a
way,
dream.
his college coach said this in an article. He turned sideways and you couldn't see him. That's how thin he was. that was a quote.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you where that was too. That was Jeff Van Gundy at our banquet in my freshman year. And when he said it, everybody started laughing, and there was a little twitch in my eye. I was like, "There's no way he just said that at this banquet that we're having right now." But no, like I understood what it was at the time. Like, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, why aren't they recruiting me?" You're 6'3" wing that's 150 pounds and not athletic. I wasn't even dunking at that time.
Yeah.
So, like, it'd be very delusional for me to think I'm going to get recruited by Duke or Carolina. I was a little delusional, but not that delusional.
It's funny because I didn't know you at the time. I had a friend that was a coach that was actually your coach at Rice, and I just remember randomly him telling me, like, we have a kid on the team that has a chance. And I'm like, you guys are terrible. What do you mean you have a kid on the team that has a chance? And it was you, funny enough.
Yeah. No, it's
full circle.
It's also funny too. Corey Brewer, who's my coach now, he came to my practice as a freshman, and he pulled all the freshmen to the side. It was 4 of us. And he was talking to everybody. Then he pointed at me. He said, you might be all right. You might got a chance. And I really held that to my heart. Like, I really believed that too. And then when I got on the team for the Pelicans, like summer league, we get to the airport and I see him. I'm like, oh damn, you like that's crazy, like full circle. He's like, oh yeah, Parrot told me to tell you that. I said, bro, I believe that. Like, I really believe that. Like, I was really hurt. Like,
I'm sure he believed it too.
He didn't.
No.
He for sure, because he said, I came to a game and you had 2 points. I didn't believe that you'd be in the NBA. Like, no. And I was like, well, damn. Well, I'll tell you the motivation helped, though. I'll tell you that.
When you went to transfer, did Duke, North Carolina, or was like, obviously UVA is a great school, but like, what other programs? Was there a program where you were like, all right, come knocking on my door, or was it just like kind of UVA was the best option from the jump?
In all honesty, like, I was going to Villanova for probably like 2 weeks into the portal. Like, I was in the portal for probably like 4 weeks, and 2 of those weeks I was like, I'm going to go to Villanova. But UVA had recruited me a little bit throughout high school, but then stopped because I was a lot smaller. And then they came back around, and they were just like, look, things are different this time. Obviously, we're going to play this and the third. And growing up in ACC country, it's hard to turn that down. Like, I have a chance to play against North Carolina, Duke, NC State, schools that didn't recruit me when I came up to the portal too. So then it's like, all right, I feel like I can have a chance to get back. And then also too, like, I didn't play defense before I went to Virginia, and I was like, why not go to the best defensive school I can to, make myself a better NBA prospect?
I don't think any of us played defense.
No, Coach, that's why we're doing a podcast and not playing. All right, before we move on to the NBA, fun fact for you. Okay. You shot 40.1% for your college career from three. I shot 40.6%, which means if you would have made 3 more of your shots that you missed, you would have actually beat me. But just so you know, you were 3 shots short.
Damn.
So I was a better college shooter than you.
There he goes.
Wait, before we jump to NBA, Trey knew this was coming. I mean, you signed up for this. I have one more question just about, like, growing up, because when we all looked you up beforehand, obviously we knew, something about you, but I didn't know enough about your parents who are here. But, your mom was shown in an interview saying, why didn't you make all your free throws? Your dad was your coach. So obviously they've been tough on you forever. Mm-hmm. Was there anything were they tough on you growing up? Was there anything they made you do, outside of basketball that might have helped you or might have helped you, grind your way up?
I'll tell you the most motivation. My sophomore year going into my junior year of high school, my dad told me, you're either going to get an academic scholarship, an athletic scholarship, or you're going to the Army. And I said,
damn,
I am too big to be getting shot at, so I am going to work as hard as I can to make sure I do not have to.
G.I. Trey.
G.I. Trey.
I said that was enough right there. So I'm going to the gym because
he's like, Sergeant.
Nah, I support all soldiers. Must say that first. But look, I'm not one of them. Not one of them. So
what about any jobs? Any jobs you had to do working your way up? I don't know how I can feed this to you anymore, Trey. God.
You got a job in high school?
The one job that I had was Chick-Fil-A. I worked at Chick-Fil-A for about a month.
That's so good.
Yeah, I worked at Chick-Fil-A for about a month, and the breaking point was...
I'm kind of jealous.
The 426th time you had to say, my pleasure, he was like, I'm out.
No, what's funny, too? Like, it'd be times where I'm at Chick-fil-A working, and I see a big bus come around. I'm like, oh, absolutely not. I'm going to the back. I'm getting me something to drink, because then you'll see 50 kids running out there, like, ordering stuff. They're rude. Just the worst kids on the planet. But what it was that I was like, I have to quit. I was giving a lady a drink one time, and she crushed the drink in my hand, spilled it on her shoe, and then said, you crushed my drink. And me at the time, being 16, a little dumb, a little I was like, and then my manager came saved the day because I almost yelled at a lady for the Chick-fil-A incident.
Right.
But I had to contain myself, and I was like, you know what? I'm putting in my 2-week notice right now.
That was it.
I wonder if any of your coworkers now are freaking out that you're playing in the NBA.
Maybe, but I remember
there were some coworkers that were like, "See, I told you we could have all made it." You know what I mean? There's at least one person at every fast food place that thinks that they should have made it.
No,
they're
absolutely.
like, "See, I knew one of us was gonna make it."
And you know what's funny? That happens all the time. Like, I'll be somewhere ordering food, and like, yeah, I used to hoop back in the day, and I got tired of it one time. I said, you know what? Google yourself. Put your name in my phone, and I want you to Google your highlights or something like that. And like, I'm like, nah. See, exactly. So stop saying that. Stop telling people that.
Go ahead, Drew.
My first job was McDonald's.
Was it?
Yeah, at
I
the
didn't
border.
know that.
At the border in between Tijuana and San Diego, when you cross the border, there was like a walk through McDonald's. It's kind of like for everybody that wants to cross, but walking wise.
I think Chick-fil-A
So
was probably.
I was
better.
16. You want to say Chick-fil-A against McDonald's?
Probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it true the burgers are made of rat? Is that true at McDonald's or no? The burgers are made out of rats.
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Not at Frankie's
beef.
location.
Not Frankie's location.
Frankie's out back barbecuing those
Are you-
burgers, baby.
Are you crazy? But by the
offended.
way, but for your statement of like Chick-Fil-A better than McDonald's, like if you like chicken, yeah, of course, but like numbers don't lie, right? There's way more McDonald's out there than Chick-Fil-A's.
I don't think quality.
I think they're catching up.
Quantity
Quantity
is,
overrules.
not better. It's not better than quality sometimes,
Oh, you're talking about quality.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
there's
not-
quantity. Yes, McDonald's for sure. Quality though.
But what's tastier?
Chick-fil-A for
Chick-fil-A.
sure.
What are you talking
You
about?
guys,
Chick-fil-A.
absolutely not.
Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely not. It is up there for the chicken places.
No.
But not
McDonald's breakfast though, for sure. Absolutely, really good, really elite. Other than that though, no, I'm sorry.
For,
McGriddle
it
is
has
fire.
better nuggets than McDonald's, but burgers like the Coke's way better at McDonald's.
We finally found a topic that Frankie can be very vocal about. Frankie normally is during the podcast is like this. He's like he's reading the show notes trying to learn about Trey.
By the way,
And now
I
we
have
start talking
no
about
show
fast
notes here.
food.
You're the one that has him out, man.
Now we're
I
talking
know
about
my
fast
boy.
food and
I
we
know
got
my
our
boy.
expert.
I know my boy's real name. Like that's my guy.
Hey. Trey
All
is
right,
my
so
real name.
transitioning
Trey is
transitioning
my real
from
name.
McDonald's to G League.
Whoa, Frankie, we got to show Drew the ropes.
Guess what time it is?
What time is it, Tank?
It's not shot o'clock. It is Price Picks time.
Let's go.
All right, so if you use our code BallerMedia to sign up and you make a $5 play, you get $50 instantly into your account. You choose your players, you do more or less. You put $5 down and you get 50 instantly into your account. All you have to do is use code BallerMedia here, and it's just that easy.
Frank, we got to start watching more baseball, buddy.
I know, because I've been losing a lot, but it's fine. It's cool. I still have a lot of fun.
All I got to do is more or less.
More or less, $5.
Well, also,
go.
it's going to be a little while before we got basketball back, so we're going to become baseball gurus.
Or junkies.
Hey, whatever. I'm in.
Back to the show.
Back to the show.
So when you got picked, obviously first round pick, you're thinking, all right, guaranteed contract, I made it. You know, draft night, obviously I know like all the stir up on draft night, but take away that. You spend half of your rookie season, you know, bouncing back and forth, going from the G League. How do you feel? Because you finally make it. Like your dream, everyone's dream is to make the NBA.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And obviously you have ambitions of one day being in the finals or winning MVP, but like the goal is to make the NBA. You make it, and then now you go backwards almost and go to the G League. What was that like mentally? Because I think most people don't understand how the mental toll of not playing after you've been the man, you've worked your way up, and then also getting sent back down. Talk about that, because I think like a lot of people don't realize how that is.
This might get a little long-winded, but from the time that I transferred to getting drafted, I was literally on a high. Like everything was going really well for me. And then get drafted, we play summer league. I make first team all summer league. Preseason comes, I'm averaging like 16 a game, shooting like 50% from three. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to be rookie of the year. Like I'm about to be first team all rookie, all this stuff. I don't have a good game until February. So the season starts in October, and I don't have a good game until February. Do you understand how long of a time that is to not have a good game, and you're the first-round pick, and then, you know, you're happy for your guys, but the second-round pick, he starts the second game. Undrafted guy comes in around December or January. He ends up playing really well. He's a rotational player. And then January comes around, and I play 1 minute the entire month of January.
That's crazy.
For a whole month.
Austin can relate. He went to Baylor.
That's crazy.
Hey, you know that's rough.
It's the worst feeling ever, especially like
Terrible.
I know you work hard because I was the hardest working player on the team by far. I was in the gym more than anybody. And to work that hard and have coach, you know, feed you stuff that, you're working hard and you're still not playing is the worst feeling in the world.
And everybody's telling you like, oh, you should be playing. Well, I'm not. Yeah. So doesn't really matter if you're telling me I should be playing. And so that was probably the hardest year of basketball I've ever had in my entire life, but it was the most important one because when I went to that summer, I said to myself, I will never, ever feel like this again, and I will make sure I do everything that is possible to make sure I'm playing and contributing. But, you know, when February came around, I started hooping. Like, I started playing a lot better. I remember they sent me down to the G League. I was supposed to play 5 games. And after the first game, Brandon Ingram got hurt. He had a hamstring injury, and they were like, all right, we need Trey to come up. He might play this game. And I was like, if I'm not playing, don't bring me back up. Like, I would rather play down here because I'm having fun. I'm averaging 26 a game, 11 rebounds. Like, I'm having a good time.
Right.
And they were like, no, bring him up. Played a Magic game, we ended up losing. I played a solid game. Then the game after that, we played the Hornets. I had 32 points.
Oh.
And then I look at our gym, I'm like, do I have to go back? Like,
Yeah.
please
Don't send me back.
I said, can I please stay? He said, you're not going back. And after that, I didn't look back. I literally was like, that was the time when I was like, all right, I belong in the NBA. It took until February of my rookie year to feel like I actually belonged.
When you said you changed something that summer, like when you were like, that summer I made the mindset of like, I'm not going back to that. What changes did you make? Because you were obviously already working really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like what was different about that? Was
So,
it all mentality, or did you do something different like in your workouts and stuff?
I would say that it's a lot of it is that you work hard, but you don't necessarily work very smart on, when it comes to your basketball career early on. And I would also say like Brandon Ingram was a big motivator for me because I would watch him work out and I was like, oh, it's very intentional, very game speed. And I was like, all right, that's where I need to get to. I want to be at his level, if not better than that. I want to make sure I'm working like he is. And so I would look at him, I would watch his workouts, I would join in his workouts. And then during the summertime, I just kept having in my mind, like, they didn't play you. You weren't playing at this time. Like just remembering all those feelings of, like, I would go to the game, and I know in my head I'm not playing.
Right.
Sick feeling. Never felt that in my entire life. It's one of the worst feelings. Like, it'd be to a point where, the trainers are like, all right, come get taped. I'm just like, for what? Like, I'm not playing. Like, why? Like, why am I?
I remember that feeling. Trust me.
Dark times.
We
like,
had the same mentality. We just ended up different places.
Yeah, no, we're still at the same table.
Getting paid millions to do it.
We're at the same table right now, though. So
We're at the same table.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes me feel good. But
Frankie never gets DMPs in his rec league games. Though.
No, exactly. So
that's
you can't feel that. You can't relate to that.
He
coach.
makes the team.
and you got championships too, bro.
I got championships.
It's never been confirmed, but we think that Frankie has the most rec league championships in the world.
In the world?
Because he has a Monday league championship, a Tuesday league championship, a Wednesday, a
and a
Thursday,
Thursday.
a Friday.
No,
Only
no.
Sundays.
Monday through Thursday.
He's like Chick-Fil-A. He's basically like Chick-Fil-A. Sunday's the only day he doesn't have a rec league championship.
But we play pickleball on Sundays,
Oh,
Football
okay.
team
Yeah,
being on
respect.
Sunday.
Okay, cool. You just win everything.
I was gonna say that what he just said, like he had that thing, that chip on his shoulder about how he was gonna become the guy you are now. Tyrese was saying the same thing, right? He was saying, I have to imagine things like whatever like made me like feel down, like to push him up, and that's so cool to hear what motivates you, like to where you're at now.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When I was in college, I remember like when I was a freshman at Pepperdine, I going into the summer of sophomore year, I would look at like the recruiting class and I'd be like, damn, they're recruiting another point guard, or like these were things that I always noticed. And recently, and this has nothing to do with the actual trade itself, but DeJounte Murray just got traded to you guys, and that's another guard coming to the team. Is that something that affects you in your brain? Are you like, another guard is coming here, I have to compete again? Or are you like, our team has gotten so much better, let's figure out how to make this thing work?
No, I don't look at it as like I'm competing for a spot, because I just know what I bring to the table is something that not a lot of people, I'm not even going to say on the team, but in the NBA don't bring to the table. And so I don't worry about who is coming onto the team, leaving the team, or whatever. I just know what I bring, and I know it's very special. So, I think he's going to add to the team. He's going to be a good piece. I think the biggest thing is going to be his voice for our team. Like, that's something I feel like we've been missing. Like, the 3 years I've been there, is somebody that's that, like, vocal leader that has been, like, more of an aggressive type of approach. We've had leaders on our team, but they're not the most vocal, and that's to each his own. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like with a young team especially, you kind of need somebody to really like push a few buttons here and there, and it can't just be the coach.
Well, the biggest addition to me is that I personally think that DeJounte is a top 5 closer in the league. And from watching you guys in the playoffs, it seemed like, one of the things missing was just someone to like close the game out. There wasn't necessarily the best shot at the end of the clock. And DeJounte's proven to be one of the best closers in the game. I mean, he's made a lot of buzzer beaters.
It wasn't just the playoffs; it was the entire regular season.
Yeah.
So
You lost a lot of close games.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That is true. I cannot argue that. it's an actual fact, though.
Like, you
it's
need
an
a
actual
closer
fact.
now to not lose those games.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. So, I mean, obviously DeJounte is going to be a great addition to the team, and I'm very happy to have him on the team. Yeah. And we just got to figure out how we mesh everything together.
All right, you talked a lot about you bring something to the table that not a lot of people do in the NBA. So I'm gonna put you on the spot. What can we expect from you this year? First time he had
What
to
do
think
you,
about
you
it.
want like points per game? What do you
I
want?
just want to know what we can expect. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
well,
point
like
percentage?
last year, for instance, when I asked that to Maxie, he was like, "I'm going to be a first-time All-Star." I was like, "Perfect." You know what I mean? Sometimes guys will say, "I'm going to do this or that. I'm going to be all defense, all this. I'm going to be a 20-point a game scorer. I'm going to be." I just want to know what can we expect from you this year.
I know what Drew wants you to be.
I just want to see what he. Let's just let him go with this. What can we expect from Trey Murphy? I know that your team might get your roster shaken up, which matters, but just what can we expect from you?
I'm going to say for sure 40-plus from 3. I'm going to say upwards of 17 to 18 a game.
I like that.
And
I don't, because last year he said 20.
Drew's mad.
Last year he said
I knew you
20,
were gonna
just
be
so you
mad.
know. And I
17,
told him-
18 is a great number.
He said this, I promise you. We're in the gym, and last summer was the first summer we worked out together. And, my biggest thing with guys is challenging them mentally. So I asked him, I said, what are you going to do this season? Just to know where his mind, he said 20 points a game. I said, you're drunk. Like, you are drunk. There is no chance that you're going to.
He doesn't
He
drink.
was mad at me.
He doesn't drink. He doesn't drink, coach.
yeah.
Drunk on water, coach. On water. So the reason that I ask
Oh, my goodness.
the reason that I ask this is because I think it does matter. I think that Trey would tell you that so much of the NBA is about confidence. Opportunity is one thing, confident, and then ability. Those three things have to blend together. If you don't have the ability, it doesn't really matter how confident or the opportunity, but you have to have opportunity, you have to have confidence, and you have to have ability. Those three things have to blend.
Absolutely.
So, like we've always talked about, like his shooting, he has the ability. He's worked really hard. Like, he'll tell you, like this summer, his feet sound different. His change of direction sounds different. His like ability to keep his arm in front on drives, which are little things that like instead of getting jammed, now he'll be able to get to the basket next season. All those things have improved. So when I look at it this year, I'm like, he should have the confidence going into this season that he's going to be a different player just because, on the basketball court, he's a different player. So far we got 40%, 16 to 17 points.
I didn't say 16.
What'd you say?
I said 17 to 18.
Okay, 17, 18 points.
But he's gonna change his answer right there. I think you're gonna be at 21 point per game.
I could see All-Star game in LA into a dome in 20. Is that 26? 20.
That's
25.
24 is Golden State,
26.
Arizona, and then LA.
25
26?
is Golden State because next one's 25.
25 is Golden State, 26 is Arizona, 27 is LA.
You sure it's not?
So 2
LA
or 3
is
years. You're
LA.
saying 2 or 3
Anyways.
Yeah,
years.
2 to 3
Yeah.
years for sure. Yeah, I could confidently say that.
I like
I
that.
like that. It's a good
Yeah.
answer.
What do you think the next step for you is?
Specifically, I would say just shot variety. I mean, obviously this is like really getting nerded out with the answer, but shot variety. Like I would say, just mixing up, not just being catch and shoot and dunks, like movement shooting, getting into the mid range at times, post ups, and then just being aggressive. I think that's just the biggest thing. As long as I'm aggressive in the time I'm out there and in my possessions, then I'll be able to go wherever I take myself.
One last nerdy question, just because I think it's cool for, when we have a lot of fans that watch that are like the Twitter people that, you know what I mean, don't really, they're not good at basketball, they're just fans or whatever. But we do have some people that are basketball players, basketball coaches that are trying to get educated and stuff like that. What is it like when you're in a role? So right now, the Pelicans are using it as a role player. And so you're having to master the role that you're in while working towards the role that you want. What is that mindset like? Because I think that could help a lot of players that, maybe they're freshman or sophomore on the varsity team and their coach is saying, hey, you have to be a 3-and-D guy. And they're saying, I want to do that because I know that'll help the team win, but also I want to be a scholarship player. So eventually I got to be more than just a 3-and-D player.
Yeah.
What is it like mastering a role while also working towards becoming more than just a role player?
I think the biggest thing is your ability to, first of all, do your role first. Like, if you do your role, you're given a lot more rope. And this year, there were a few different times where I would test a little bit. Like, I would come down, dribble, like 20, shot, come down off a pick and roll, shoot. I would take 40-footers, stuff like that. If you make the shot, they can't take the points off the board. That's just the bottom line. That's one of the biggest things that Corey Brewer's always told me. If you make the shot, it does not matter. If you miss it, then you have to deal with the repercussions.
Doghouse, yeah.
If you have the confidence to do what you work on, obviously I'm not telling somebody who's a big come down off a pick and roll, shoot a step back 3, because you deserve to get taken out of the game. Like, you deserve for that to happen to yourself. But if you do these things, you work on it, and you show the coach that you're working on that, then they're inclined to be like, all right, I've seen him work on that. I can't get too mad. Like, obviously, I'm in a box of get to the corner and, be ready to shoot, all this other stuff. And it's like, okay, I'm going to do that for these 5 possessions. But 2 of these possessions, I'm coming off a ball screen. I'm going to shoot this.
Right.
Like, I'm going to get to the rim. And, like,
Yeah.
I know I can do that too. And then once you show them, then it's like, all right, they let you get a little bit more reps. So, like, all right, you can get into the ball screens. You can start doing, like, more off the dribble. And so it's like you have to have a little bit of irrational confidence, I would say, in order to, get to where you want to go.
Players, just so you guys kind of recap, the biggest thing that he said was, you first have to work on the stuff. You have to be able to do the stuff. Don't just go out there and try stuff and be like, this is what I want to do. It's like, no, this is what I can do before you go out there and try it. Second thing, you have to master the role that your coach and your team need you to do first. Mm-hmm. That's what gets you on the court. And then once you're on the court, then you can kind of slowly expand that box, grow your game, and prove to your coach through both success in games and success in practice that you are ready for a bigger role that will still help the team win. I think that's the thing that a lot of young players don't get is the coach and the team, they're just trying to win games. Yeah. And so they don't really care what you can do. They just want to know how can you help, impact winning.
Absolutely.
And so what you have to do as a player is show that your, improved role will help improve winning. And if you can impact winning at a higher level, the coach is going to be all for it. But if you can't improve the team's ability to win more games, then ultimately they don't care if you expand your role or not. So,
absolutely.
Amen, Drew and Trey. That was awesome. That really puts it into perspective. That's like the D-book role, right? And with Team USA, where he just took it.
I know Herb Jones is your guy.
My dog.
And in your bio, it says that he's first team all defense. So I would just like to hear your actual first team all defense. Just by position, I want to hear your 5 first team all defense.
Herb.
Okay.
Wemby.
Okay.
Drew.
Okay. That's 3.
Bam count? Bam count?
Yeah, for sure. You can
Power
go Bam
forward?
with 4. Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah, I guess so. Drew's gonna say no to that.
I
But
love Bam as a defender.
Yeah.
hey, I'm saying at the 4.
Yeah.
Shooting guard.
Mine would be, I think, Marcus Smart. I know he was injured this last year, but
He's good.
Overall.
He's good at defense. Am I gonna say Marcus Smart though?
DeJounte?
You can't put 2 Pelicans on the. I know he is a Pelican, but
yeah, exactly. That is a tough one.
let me ask you this while you're thinking of the last name. When it comes to all defense, how much of it is stat based to you? How much of it is eye test? Because like we joke around all the time, but there's certain players that get a lot of credit for being great defenders, and then they just get cooked in some individual matchups. How much of it is like this player, when they're on the court, they make their team better versus, you know, they get blocks, they get steals, they get, you know, the kind of recognition of that kind of stuff? Like, do you look at it as lockdown defender, like he doesn't need help, or he impacts his team's ability to guard?
Okay, Jaden McDaniels. That was the last name. Sorry.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Jaden
Jaden McDaniels is a good
Okay,
one.
yeah,
That's
sorry.
a good 5.
Repeat the question one more time.
So basically,
Let's go from the beginning.
yeah. So when you're thinking about all defense, do you think it's more about guys that can just lock up, like I don't need help, I got this, or do you think it's more about guys that, you know, when they're on the court, their team's a better defensive team, and when they're off the court, their team's a worse defensive team? Like, do you look at individual defenders or team defenders? Because I think that's one of the hardest things is like players sometimes think differently than like media. Like media likes to geek out on look at their on-off court ratings and blocks and steals, and
I like team
players
defense.
are like, man, I would cook that dude. Like that guy needs help. Like he can't guard on an island.
Yeah.
What do you think about when you're talking about best defenders in the league?
That's why I've always said that all NBA, all defensive, like the players need to hold like a lot more weight when it comes to those votes, because these media people, they don't know. Like,
Or they've never played basketball a day in their life.
No offense to James at all, but there's one year he like led the league in like steals or something like that, and this is probably one of his Houston Rocket days, and it's like James is not really playing defense like that, but it's like a stat where you're getting steals, and so like I would say for me, like when Herb is on the court, I know I'm good. Herb will tell me send him this way. I'll literally just be like, you know what? I dare you to go this way. Like, please.
That's crazy.
Like, please go this way. It's a level of confidence that you have, be on the floor with guys, and it's like, yes, team defense is very important too, and also individual defense is very important. That's why a lot of guys I name, I feel like they do both. And because there's a lot of guys that are phenomenal on-ball defenders, piss poor off-ball defenders, like really terrible, like lose their man, get backdoored, all that stuff. But then they might be in the defensive team because they might lead the league in steals, or they might take a lot of charges, get a lot of blocks. But it's just like, as a player, just like I know exactly how to exploit them because they don't pay attention to their man. They're not seeing. They're just looking at the ball. They're just ball watching the whole time.
I love that Herb's friendship for you was also a business decision. He's like, I'm gonna become best friends with the best player on the best defensive player on the team.
That's not even how that happened. We became friends.
He's got your back at all times,
bro. It was literally before we even got drafted, bro. Like literally in the combine. That's when we became homies. Like, if I'll go into another story, we were going to get our physicals, and when I got to the hospital, Herb had been there, and he looked tired. First of all, Herb is always looking tired, but he looked especially tired that day. And I was like, dang, bro, like, how long you been here? He's like, 5 hours. And I was like, well, damn, like, how long am I going to have to be here? He's like, bro, I don't know. And literally after that, we just started talking. Just simple, just like bro to bro, like, type of stuff. And I was like, oh, I think we're supposed to be in the same workout after the combine. He's like, all right, bet. Well, I guess we'll see each other then. And then ended up getting drafted together, and that was my homie.
That's
There
dope.
you go.
Yeah.
You got locked up in the combine, or?
I didn't play in the combine.
Uh-oh.
You know, my draft stock had risen a lot during that time, so I was able to, not play.
Yeah, sit it out.
Yeah.
That's why I love Drew Holiday, by the way. If you watch Drew play, his on-ball defense is insane.
Nuts.
And then, like, watching the Olympics, these bigs can't even score on him. He'll get switched into the post, and they can't even move him. They can't back him down. They can't move him. I personally love Drew. I think he's one of the better defenders in the league.
Very underrated.
Frank, you
Underrated
want to
player.
ask Trey our closing question?
No, I'm gonna let you do this. Do it this time, man.
All right, so we do this at the end of every episode. We ask our guest who their dream king of the court would be. So you can, it could be 1 to 4 guys either playing or waiting on the baseline. Who's your dream king of the court? Doesn't have to be basketball.
Oh, okay, bet.
Can be music, whatever, entertainment, anything.
You okay?
No, I'm thinking. I'm about to give a good answer. That's why.
He wants to give us like a deep answer.
4? You said 4 players?
So it's you and 2 to 3 other people.
Okay.
3, 4 people. That
My,
Alright, cool.
Mine were Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, and Tiger Woods.
You're not scoring a point.
Against who?
Damn.
None of them.
Damn. He said the GOATs aren't letting you score.
What?
You're not scoring a point.
Against Michael Jordan today? Or back
No,
then?
that was the last person you could have named. you
I'm
could have went
scoring.
to other.
Start with Tiger Woods or Tom Brady. He went straight
That's
to the
the
GOAT.
last person you could have named.
I'm scoring on all 3 of them.
Anyway, my other 3
That's insane.
would be probably Kobe. Easy one. Martin Luther King.
Oh.
And Obama.
Obama was in
Obama
all
was
of
on
ours.
mine.
Yeah.
Obama. That's my 3. That was my 3.
That's a good king of the court.
Yeah.
All right, Trey, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Appreciate
Honestly, great episode. Good luck this season. We're very excited to see you play.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, bro.
Appreciate y'all.